There's something you might not know about being African American. Compared to others, we're more likely to die from heart disease, stroke, and several types of cancer. We're more likely to have high blood pressure and twice as likely to have diabetes. But it doesn't have to be this way. We need to take charge of our family's health.
As sponsors of the program that you're about to see, we at Kaiser Permanente encourage you to be active participants in managing your health. The first step is awareness. That's why we're so glad you're joining us for this program. There's an old proverb that says, "He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything." Here's to having health, hope, and feeling better every day. May you live well and thrive.
Caring for your family's health, it starts with you.
If you are not healthy, you can't be there for everyone else.
This program is about building a plan to take better care of your health, whether you're young or old, single or married, with the responsibility of an extended family or on your own. With the help of actress and dancer Elise Neal, director and performer Robert Townsend, and real people like you, you'll see how to make healthy choices for you and your family, starting right now. Elise Neal stars in movies and TV shows now, but she began her career on stage, performing in musical theater.
I think a lot of actors have no idea what it's like to do a show for 3 hours at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, take a shower, maybe 30-minute nap, and do the whole show over again for another live audience at 8 o'clock in the evening.
Robert Townsend is an actor, writer, director, and producer. He knows the importance of taking control, and that includes taking charge of your health.
It's all about how you take care of yourself. If people were aware of it, and their lifespan would be so much longer and healthier.
I'm okay because I've gone to the doctor every year and made sure of it.
Caring for our health and our family's health starts with each of us getting regular checkups.
A lot of people are busy, very busy lives. They're running here and there, and usually the checkups is something that is left only when they're very sick. And I think that it's something that people really have to incorporate into their lives as something that they do on a regular basis, especially in the African American community.
Many of us are busy taking care of others, whether it's our children or our parents. We need to make time for regular checkups.
Now, can you stick out your tongue?
Is your toddler's cough a sign of asthma? Is your mother remembering to take her medications as prescribed? Could those little problems you have tried to ignore turn into something big? You don't know unless you go.
Hello, doctor.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
It is extremely important for people to make time for regular checkups because that's the only way they're going to know if something is brewing.
You only find the chronic illnesses once you've checked their blood pressure, once you've checked their pulse, once you've weighed them, or you always get the, by the way, doc, I'm having a problem with this. Then you find out what the real illnesses are.
Dr. Philip Bernard has been Ken Abercrombie's family physician since his son Jeremy was born. It's a partnership.
In the African American community, a partnership is not something that we often think about when it comes to our health. And I think that we have to change that mindset, that mentality.
Mr. Abercrombie feels comfortable with Dr. Bernard, and he understands why it's important for them to communicate regularly.
I wanted to do a review of your family to see what kind of diseases have cropped up since we last talked. Anybody developed any hypertension?
My mom has hypertension.
There's some issues with heart disease in your family.
If your doctor knows you have a family history of hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, asthma, or mental illness such as depression, he or she will be more prepared to help you manage your risk. Talk to your family and share that information with your doctor.
That's a matter of taking responsibility for your health by knowing your connections. And to the extent that you do that really well, it makes a doctor's job a lot easier.
For Elise Neal, finding out about her family's health history meant getting relatives to open up a little.
You really need to understand that it's okay to sit around as a group and talk seriously about each other's health, and that it's not a taboo thing, it's a necessity.
Miss Neal has taken preventive measures because she knows that both her mother and great-grandfather had heart disease.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Fine, and yourself?
Cheryl King's family history of hypertension is a major reason she sees her family physician, Dr. Mims, on a regular basis. Hypertension, high blood pressure. It's more common in African Americans than in any other ethnic group in the world. But too many people don't know they have it.
High blood pressure is often called a silent killer. That's because the pressure is high and you feel fine. You don't actually have symptoms of high blood pressure. But what happens is that the heart is beating harder and pumping more blood flow through the body at pressures that your body doesn't need. And what happens is that can lead to strokes. It makes the heart enlarge, and every beat really causes damage to the kidneys.
But as Mrs. King has learned, you can do something about high blood pressure. We'll talk about the importance of a healthy lifestyle a little later. First, let's focus on the critical numbers you need to know when you get your checkup. Here are important numbers to know and discuss with your physician. Blood pressure is measured with two numbers. For most of us, it's good to be below 120/80. Overall cholesterol should be under 200. High cholesterol increases your risk for heart disease.
Think about cholesterol as the fats that you eat, and some that your body makes. What they do is clog up the blood vessels.
Doing pretty good with your weight.
Body mass index is a measurement of how much weight you're carrying for your height. It should be between 19 and 24. A BMI of 25 to 29 indicates you're overweight. Over 30 is considered dangerously obese.
Because obesity is associated with higher risk of heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and certain forms of cancer.
I had some lab reports I need to talk to you about.
If you're overweight or have a family history of diabetes, your checkup should also include a fasting blood glucose or sugar test. 100 or lower is considered normal. 101 to 125 is considered pre-diabetes and could require lifestyle changes. 126 or over could indicate diabetes.
That's essentially what diabetes is. Their body is unable to break down the sugar and then utilize it in the cells.
So I want you to look straight ahead for me.
Willie Johnson has been managing his diabetes for more than 8 years. He knows there's a lot at stake. Diabetes can lead to blindness, kidney failure, amputation, even death. But it doesn't have to if you see a doctor regularly and if you follow the treatment prescribed. That's true for any medical condition.
If you're going to the doctor and that doctor tells you to take a medicine every day, then you need to take it every day. The medicines, the way that they were made, they don't work unless you take them every day.
I have developed the habit of every morning getting up and taking my diabetic medication. Then I do my exercising. I've gotten to the point where I love to exercise, and I know doing that helps to save my life.
Like Mr. Johnson, you can live and thrive with diabetes. Whether you're managing an illness or trying to prevent one, Making healthy choices every day will make everybody in your family feel better.
In this corner, in the greatest shape of his career.
When it comes to active living,
Good footwork.
it's hard to beat Robert Townsend. He knows that keeping fit can be fun. He's known for comedy, but this man has been serious about success and health since his childhood on the tough streets of Chicago.
So one day in school, I got discovered because the teacher said, we're going to read. And like in the inner city school, you got, she was like, Deborah, you're going to be Ophelia. Robert Townsend, you're going to be Tiresias, the blind prophet. And, Deborah was, Oedipus, you shall marry thy mother. And I had been watching the Royal Shakespeare Company, so I was like, Oedipus, I pray not thy rage upon thy soul. And so at that point, the whole class went like, whoa.
Robert Townsend went on to perform in front of and behind the camera. Now he's running a television network, and he still makes time for exercise.
I found myself in a production meeting the other day. We were having this long production meeting. It was like about, 4.5 hours, and I was just in the side of the corner when they were talking. Other departments were talking about their updates, and I was doing push-ups, So I think, you can find time to exercise anywhere.
Active living has all kinds of benefits. For Cheryl and Jeffrey King, it's a healthy way for the family to spend time together. Exercise is also part of Mrs. King's plan for preventing hypertension. She works it into her weekly routine at home and on the job.
I pretty much exercise at home. I try 3 days a week, 30 minutes on a treadmill. And then at work, at lunchtime, I actually go out and walk.
Parents need to show their children that exercise is important and fun. Being physically active and staying active is the best way to combat a growing American problem, obesity. It's a particular concern for young African Americans.
We know that in the African American community that among adolescents, the amount of obesity has reached close to 27 to 30%, whereas in whites it's only 17%.
It is imperative that we actually adjust our lifestyles now. We are sitting too much, we're watching too much TV, we're on the computer for hours and hours a day, and in our work we're sitting all the time. What we need to do different is be more physically active, and that's every day.
I know that when I exercise, I feel better, my mind is more alert, I have more energy, and my business is all about ideas, and the clearer your mind is and the more focused you are, the better you can create.
Not everyone has exercise equipment or a gym nearby, and we don't all live in neighborhoods where it's safe or easy to take a walk. But just about everyone can take a cue from Elise Neal, turn on the music, and dance.
With exercise, that's kind of been my lifestyle. I've been active my entire life. As a dancer, I took tap and ballet and jazz, from the age of 6 till now, and I can't sit still.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Of course, healthy eating goes hand in hand with active living. And for both exercise and nutrition, it's good to get expert advice. For Austin and Karen Perryman, reading nutrition labels is more important than ever. That's because Mr. Perryman found out the symptoms he was feeling were signs of diabetes.
I just started to notice, a little bit of the dry mouth constantly and drinking more and getting up late at night to urinate more. And on one of the regular checkups, and they did a blood sugar count and said, wow, we need to talk to you.
Part of that conversation focused on the need to cut back on portion sizes, starchy foods like white rice and potatoes, and sweets. Now he shares that information with his parents too, because the food choices you make for diabetes are good for everyone in the family.
Early on in his life, in my life, I was a fairly healthy cook, but not nearly as much so as now. And I enjoy the benefits of it. I think I'm in great shape.
Give me another year and I'll be 80. So tell what good eating habits can do for you.
When you're reading labels, watch out for sodium. That's salt, and too much of it is bad for your blood pressure.
1,830 milligrams of salt.
There are lots of great seasonings you can use, but steer away from the salt. And be aware of foods that have a lot of hidden sodium, like cured meats, bacon, salt pork, and ham, as well as many canned goods and processed foods.
We have a bad habit of just sitting down and turning up the shaker on our meals. We need to stop that. We also need to not use extra salt in our cooking. Those are the key things we need to do for high blood pressure.
We also need to watch our fats to keep the lid on our cholesterol.
Everything has to be in balance. The carbohydrates, the sweets have to be in moderation. And certainly the fat and cholesterol has to be in moderation. We have to make a paradigm shift away from foods that we love but don't love us.
On average, African Americans eat barely 2 fruits and vegetables a day combined. Instead, we need 5 fruits and vegetables combined every day. That will actually increase the fiber in our diet and help decrease the risk of cancer.
The Abercrombie family has incorporated healthy eating habits into their lives. In making a commitment to health, Mr. Abercrombie says they haven't left the old favorites behind.
I don't think we've given up anything. Just basically cooking it differently. You know, maybe not frying it as opposed to baking it or grilling it.
And then limiting the amount.
The amount, right.
Also.
That's something Mr. Abercrombie and Miss Neal have in common, finding healthy ways to prepare family favorites.
I cook a lot. I'm a Southern girl. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Now, is it always the most healthy choice? No, because I learned it all from my mom and my grandmom, but I try to do my spin on things. I make a great baked fish. We usually have it with a little rice, broccoli, or a stir fry. When you're working on TV shows and movies, they have this thing called the craft service table. Craft service table needs to have devil horns on it. Craft service table has cupcakes and donuts and any types of potato chips you would like, cookies, we have candy bars, we have everything that you're not supposed to eat in front of you all day. But for me, I just know when to quit.
And Robert Townsend has some advice. If you have friends who are not helping you make healthy food choices, just hang up.
You got to surround yourself with people that genuinely love you, because what happens is that you could be on this mission to change your life, but the people that surround you are very negative and they keep you down. So when you're trying to, oh, I see somebody trying to lose weight, you know, it ain't gonna work. You know, now sometimes you need to clear those people out of your life.
Gracious most Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord.
As you're setting a table with good health in mind, you'll find there's food for the spirit at the table too. Family mealtime without the TV on is an important opportunity.
So how was your day at school, Marty?
Family time is precious. It's an opportunity to give our children the attention they need, find out what's going on in their lives, and share our values.
Having conversations and family time is key to building a communication bridge, because our teenagers and our young are really pressured by their other peers to do things that we really don't think they should do. They may decide to join a gang, they may decide to smoke cigarettes or experiment with drugs. But when you have family time together, you can talk about the peer pressures. You can talk about that people may ask them to do some of these bad behaviors, and they can prepare in advance how they can respond to those questionings.
In addition to peer pressure, popular culture often sends messages parents need to counteract.
It's very important to instill values, especially now, because you know, I work in television, but a lot of the images on television are hurting the family, are hurting kids.
I think that that's something the parents really have to take seriously. They cannot let the television be their children's babysitters, because that medium is definitely informing their children a lot about their attitudes, about what foods they should eat, when they should become sexually active. It's important that the parents take back some of that influence.
Hi, I'm Robert Townsend.
As a performer and a parent, Robert Townsend has made a point of modeling healthy behavior at work and at home.
I don't smoke, I don't drink, so it's like there's none of that in the house. Kids kind of, emulate what they see. If they don't see it, they don't emulate it.
It's not always easy to find time alone with your children, so take advantage of any time you're together to talk and to listen.
Jeremy, how old are you now?
I'm 15.
Making healthy choices can be a challenge at any age. Teenagers in particular need a lot of support. Sometimes it's helpful to turn to a trusted adult beyond the family circle, a teacher, a minister, or the family physician.
Don't feel comfortable talking to your parents about girls.
Adults can encourage teens to find positive influences. Whether it's sports, church, or the arts, there are many ways for kids to be involved. And research shows that kids who are involved in these types of activities get into trouble less often. Elise Neal's early dedication to dance has kept her on track.
I remember when I started getting older and all my teenage friends were getting into drinking and hanging out and doing a lot of things. I was at the Tennessee Ballet Company at that time of my life. And I was very much that strict girl who was like, no, I've got class. For me, it's always been more about being healthy and keeping my body in tune and being on top of my game in that way. And I've never really been one to drink and hang out and party too much.
And of course, for an active, healthy woman like Miss Neal, smoking is absolutely out of the question. Smoking not only puts you at greater risk for heart and lung disease, cancer, and asthma, it's also bad for the people you love. Secondhand smoke can kill.
As a smoker, when there are other people around you, your smoking really impairs their health. Smoking around children increases the rate of ear infections. It increases the rate of asthma. If you're a smoker still, or if you have a family member who smokes, there is help. There's much that we can do now to assist you in stopping smoking.
The abuse of cigarettes, alcohol, and drugs, and violent behavior are often linked to stress. Stress, it's part of modern life. We're challenged with things like making ends meet, working against deadlines, and caring for our children, our parents, or other family members.
Many of our patients, they're in the sandwich generation because they actually not only are taking care of themselves, but they're taking care of their small children. They're also going to work, and they're being a spouse. Good morning. But another new added factor is that they're taking care of their parents.
Your doctor can help you develop a plan to manage your stress and the things that are causing it.
I'd like for you to read this sentence and do what it says.
He or she can refer you to community resources that can help you with your children or aging parents. Your family physician can also help you address mental health and substance abuse issues that can cause additional stress. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Unfortunately, depression is often overlooked in the African American community.
Depression, unfortunately, is very common, but people think of depression as being crazy or insane, and it's not. It's a medical condition. And when you see one of your family members that seems sad, no energy, crying a lot, not putting on their makeup, not going to church, not doing all their usual activities, it's a good possibility that they are depressed.
Depression requires medical attention. But for everyday stress, there are many options for finding relief and renewal. Many of us draw strength from a sense of community in a place of worship. Making music, exercise, and enjoying nature.
I think the thing for me is that when I go to church, when I go to the beach and I meditate, I take quiet time for me. And I think everybody should find that time.
No matter what health issues your family might face, you'll feel better if you have talked about a plan of action as a family.
I think a lot of my family members have suffered because they didn't want to talk about what was going on with them or making sure that they got checked out when they felt like something was wrong.
That plan of action starts with annual checkups for the little ones as well as for teens and adults. Women need annual gynecological checkups, which include breast exams and pap smears to screen for cancer. Women should also consult their doctors regarding mammograms as well. Men need to talk to their doctors about prostate cancer. It's no time to be shy. African American men have the highest rate of prostate cancer in the United States. And as we get older, we might need care for memory problems, vision loss, loss of bone strength, and other issues of aging. Managing our family's health, it's not just getting checkups. It's a partnership we develop with our doctors.
It's going to take a lot of self-discipline. But what choice do we have? We have to do this for the next generation, and I think that we will do it.
Get out and take a walk. It'll give you some exercise, but you'll smell some flowers and trees. Just enjoy your life and enjoy each day as you live it.
Anybody out there that really wants to change their life, healthier, happier, just better life, the quality can't change. It's in your hands.
Remember, we need to share family history, know our numbers, be physically active, and have healthy eating habits.
As you may have heard at the start of this program, being born black automatically puts us at a greater health risk for certain diseases. We encourage you to manage your health and the health of your loved ones. We hope you have found this program to be helpful. On behalf of Kaiser Permanente, may you live well, be well, and thrive.
Greatest of all time. If you ain't in shape, you're gonna get knocked out. If your cholesterol is high, if you gonna take a lie, then you better take no jive.